Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. We are here in beautiful and sunny Barcelona. We love this city. We've been here several times, but we're here for a very specific reason. We are here to embark on our cruise on the Norwegian Escape. We've been looking forward to this cruise for a long time. It's just a short cruise, about a 5-day, 4-night cruise from here over to Civitavecchia in Italy, but we're still looking forward to it. So we got here about a day early because we don't like flying in day of unless we have a transfer scheduled with the cruise line, but those tend to be very expensive. We did do a video on that last year about the expense of doing transfers with the cruise lines. Make sure you check that out. There's a link down below. But for now, we're just going to go out and enjoy Barcelona, get some great food, get some good beer, and see some of the sights that we haven't really seen yet. So let's go. We hopped on the Barcelona metro system and started making our way around the city. Whenever we are here, we like to visit one of the most iconic spots in all of Catalonia, the Sagrada Familia church. This basilica has been under construction since its groundbreaking in 1882, and for over 140 years, its benefactors and builders have been attempting to make it the tallest church in the world. At its highest point, this church will soar 170 meters, or 560 feet, over the central region of the city, standing just slightly lower than the height of the nearby Montjuic mountain. We've been here several times, and it's always captivating. You might notice how unique this church looks compared to many of the other more traditional churches throughout Europe. This is largely because some of the principal design was done by Antoni Gaudi, a renowned Catalonian artist who had a penchant for modern, and to be frank, intriguing works of art. In the Sagrada Familia, you can also take an elevator up one of the two facades to get some amazing views over the city. That's something we did last year. How high up are we, Catherine?
I don't know, I wasn't listening.
He said 100 meters.
Oh.
You can check out that video where we explored Barcelona for the first time in the links down below. After visiting the church, we decided to take a cab over to another iconic spot in the city, this time one that we hadn't seen before, Mount Tibidabo. Mount Tibidabo is known for hosting an old theme park as well as the highest church in the city, the Church of the Sacred Heart. Here we were hoping to get some amazing views. To get up to Mount Tibidabo, you can always drive, but by far the easiest way up the mountain is with the funicular. On the 4-minute funicular ride, we got some amazing views of the city. We really can't overstate how beautiful the views are from the summit of Mount Tibidabo. From here, at nearly 1,700 feet above sea level, you can see the entire city for miles around. You can also look down onto this very unique and relatively old amusement park, which opened in 1905. Want to ride on some rides?
I mean, we're already up so high. I don't see the point of the Ferris wheel.
Yeah,
I think it's pretty old, too.
it looks old. I also saw that ride that goes like hanging out over the cliff.
Yes. It went over the funicular as
Yeah.
we came up.
Yeah, that was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
You know, some of these rides don't seem that amusing until you realize that they are
Really
they're
old.
hanging out over this cliff.
Yeah, they're really old and they're really high up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is that ride that hangs out over the cliff, but there's no one in it, Catherine.
Yeah, what happens to them? They fall out?
That would suck. It's a long way down. Like many of the other amusement parks in Europe, the entrance to this park is free, but you have to pay for each ride. There are several classic rides, which are called emblematic rides, which you can have a go at for €3 per round. You can also buy passes on the Mount Tibidabo website, which will also include your funicular fare. If you just want to take the funicular up to the top of the mountain and then go back down again, you can expect to pay €12. While we were up here, we also took the time to check out the Church of the Sacred Heart, as well as the crypt below. It was another beautiful church, and you have to check this one off your list if you're visiting Barcelona, if not just for the views. Well, after that climb, I think we deserve a little beverage.
I think so. Some refreshments.
Yes, they have this little restaurant up here. Tons of places to eat up here, actually. A lot of it's more carnival food, though, so we're going to see if we can get something more substantial.
Yeah.
Our meal here was actually modestly priced, and after getting our fill, we headed back down the mountain to explore some of the old town and the seaside area of the city of Barcelona. Like we said, we've been to Barcelona several times, but walking through the ancient part of the city never gets old. After spending a bit of time here, we decided to try out some more food. We know we're in Barcelona, and it's early in the summer, but we did find some gazpacho, which Catherine was really craving.
Yes.
It's like a cold tomato soup, right?
Yeah, but it's more. It almost tastes like cucumber might be in there. I think some peppers are in it as
Cucumber
well.
and peppers, yeah.
Yeah, it's very, like I said, very refreshing, very smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've been here so many times, and it's just so pretty here.
I know, it never gets old.
Yeah, this whole port area. We started heading back towards our hotel, and on the way we walked down the Rambla, a boulevard street with a large pedestrian area and several shops and restaurants. Today there was a market here, so we enjoyed checking out the stalls. Then we also checked out La Boqueria Market, one of the many permanent markets across the city. This one was opened in 1853, and it features literally tons of fresh meats, cheeses, fruits, vegetables, fish, and more to purchase. You can also find several cooked and baked goods here, as well as several snacks to munch on while you check out all the other stalls. This is a really fun place to go, and with all of the various stalls here, you're sure to find something you'll enjoy. Today we had some tasty chicken empanadas, and with that, we called it a night. We woke up bright and early to get over to the port and start our cruise aboard the NCL Escape. It's always amazing to head to the port in this city. You can see the ships from miles away. The Escape is the fourth largest ship in Norwegian's fleet, with a gross tonnage of about 165,000 tons and a guest capacity of over 4,200. This ship is actually relatively new to the Norwegian fleet, being built in 2015 and refurbished in 2022. However, as you'll be able to see in our upcoming cabin and ship tour video, there are definitely a few areas of the ship that seem to be missed in the refurbishment. We arrived at the massive Barcelona cruise port to Terminal A and immediately found ourselves in a very long luggage line. However, unlike the luggage line from our recent cruise on the MSC World Europa, this luggage line moved fairly quickly. After that, we made our way over to a second line, which would allow us to go through security and finally check in to our cruise. Line number 2. The second line didn't take very long at all, and we were in a nice shaded section of the cruise port. Eventually, we found ourselves entering the building. Almost there.
I know, we're so excited.
Okay, check-in went very smoothly. We were in line outside for maybe 35 minutes. We had to drop our bag and then get in line to check in. But other than that, went pretty quickly, pretty smooth. We've got our cruise cards, and we are on our way onto the ship. We think that the Barcelona port is one of the nicer port buildings we've been to. Even though it's enormous, things seem to move relatively quickly here, and the port building itself is nice and comfortable.
We're going to the ship.
Almost there.
Yeah.
We walked onto the gangway and found ourselves thrust into one of the atriums of this ship, taking stock of this beautiful chandelier that hangs down over an open area that spans 3 decks. Alright guys, we are in our stateroom. Didn't take too long to get through security, didn't take too long to get into our stateroom. They did allow us in around 2 p.m., which is pretty normal. And now it's 5 o'clock, time for the sail away. This is the most exciting part of the cruise. We're so excited to be here, getting ready to sail out of Barcelona. And Catherine is obviously just raring to go. She is ready for everything that this night is going to bring.
Woo.
We took a moment to go out to our balcony and enjoy the scenery for the last few minutes before the ship pulled away from the dock and slowly made its way out into the Mediterranean. As we steamed to the next port, we decided to enjoy ourselves on the ship without doing too much filming. It was great to be back on Norwegian, and we were excited to get our cruise started. So last night, we did a few things. We went to dinner at the Manhattan Room, which is one of the 3 main dining rooms. The Manhattan Room is kind of the big one, what you would call the main dining room. And dinner was very good. So they do have freestyle dining on NCL cruises, which is very nice if you're not used to cruising. Most cruise lines, almost all of them in fact, will give you a set dining time. You'll have a set table that you go to. Some of them allow you to pay a little bit more to have my style dining or something like that, where you can go and eat when you please. But on NCL, everybody has what's called freestyle dining. And that basically means you can go to any of the main dining rooms. You don't have a set venue, you don't have a set table, and you can go at any time. You might have to wait a few minutes for a table depending on what time you go. If you do have a really large party, like 8 or more people, it's probably good that you call ahead and get a reservation. You can do reservations if you're in large parties, but smaller parties, it's not necessary at all. And then we also love how many food choices you have. You have 5 or 6 starters you can choose from. You have 6 classic entrees you can always choose from. Those are the ones that stay the same every cruise, every day. And then you also have 5 or 6 specials of the day. And then of course you can get dessert. So I went with the chicken piccata last night. It was absolutely delicious. Catherine decided to go with herb-crusted rotisserie chicken with mashed potatoes and broccoli. That is always a hit. That's one of our favorite meals on this cruise line. And then my mom, who's also with us on this cruise, decided to go for the breaded flounder, which she said was absolutely delicious. We got a few appetizers, and they were delicious as well. Catherine went with the cheese ravioli, which looked really good. I decided to go with the French onion soup, which is always good on NCL. That cheese is delicious, and the soup is nice and salty. For dessert, we went with the lava cake. That's always a big hit. Lava cake with that explosion of chocolate in the middle, and then the ice cream. A great way to end our evening. Although our evening didn't end there, we also listened to some music around the ship, visited the casino. There's so much to do on an NCL cruise at night. And then we finally made our way to bed around midnight or so. It was a really nice first day of our cruise, and we are excited to get on with our second day. Welcome to Cannes in the south of France. It's a beautiful day out here today. We weren't expecting weather to be this good. It was supposed to be a little bit cloudy, but actually it's pretty sunny out. So we have been to Cannes before, so we're not going to spend much time off the ship. Cannes is a nice little city. There are some excursions you can take, but there's not overly a lot to do. It's just kind of a seaside city. Cool to see, cool to meet the people. Nice to go out and get a bite to eat. So Cannes is what's called a tender port. So if you haven't been on a cruise before, tender ports are when the port just isn't deep enough or big enough to take in big ships. So the ships basically have to moor themselves off the coast, and then you take little tender boats, which tend to be either the lifeboats of the ship, or sometimes the port will even have tender boats come out and collect passengers, but you get on a little boat and take that into shore. So the way that they do the tendering process on the Norwegian Escape, because there are so many people, is they have what are called tender tickets. So you can go down to the box office, or you can call, or do it even on your TV. You can reserve yourself a tender ticket that'll give you a tender group number. And then starting right away in the morning from when we're cleared to go ashore, they start calling group numbers, and those groups go down to the theater or the casino or the Manhattan Room, which is the restaurant, to meet, and then they get on their tender boats and go ashore. It basically ensures that everybody who wants to go out to Cannes has the ability to take a tender out there. And then after all the tender numbers are called, then they'll allow everyone to go and come as they please. So the tender ride today is only about 10 or 15 minutes. Not too bad. But then if you do tender to shore, you have to make sure you get back in time, because a lot of times the last tenders will leave shore about an hour before we sail away. So the time frame is a little bit more crunched than if we were sitting at a dock in a port. But anyway, So we're going to see Cannes. That's great. But first, we're going to go to breakfast. Now, if you are familiar with cruising, you know that breakfast in the buffet is a huge thing. And with 5,000 people on this ship, the buffet is going to be absolutely jammed. We do not like going to the buffet for breakfast. There are a lot of people that do. There's a lot of good things on offer up there, of course. But we always like to have a sit-down breakfast. And so there's a few options for you on the Escape. So every morning, Savor and Taste, which are two of the main dining rooms, will offer breakfast from 7 a.m. until 9 a.m., which unfortunately is pretty early when you're on vacation. But then there is also O'Sheehan's Pub, which does also offer breakfast until 11 a.m., and that's a sit-down breakfast off a limited menu. But we're going to go there today and see how it is. We headed down to O'Sheehan's Bar and Grill, which is located in the midship of Deck 7. This venue overlooks the main atrium area. We really do enjoy the O'Sheehan's establishment on these NCL ships. For some ships, you'll find the same exact restaurant under the name The Local. The Local and O'Sheehan's have a slightly different atmosphere, but it's basically the same food on each ship. This venue is also open for nearly 24 hours, so no matter if you want to get something to eat at 6 a.m. or a late night snack at 2 in the morning, you can find food here. Today, though, we just had some breakfast, and it was delicious. Okay, guys, back from breakfast. It was actually really good at O'Sheehan's. They have a menu of like 5 or 6 items that you can choose. Of course, they have coffees and Starbucks items that you can have at an extra cost. I decided to go with the omelet. Catherine went with the pancakes, of course, and all of it was really good. The food came out very quickly. It was nice and hot. Overall, a really good experience. So at breakfast, we talked it over a little bit, and we decided we're not going to go into Cannes today, and that is because we are on a very short cruise with no sea days, and today the weather is actually pretty good. It's nice, it's sunny, it's hot, so we're going to spend some time up by the pool. Usually we would do this on a sea day, but again, we don't have one on this itinerary. So we're not going to go into Cannes. We've been there before. It's fine. It's probably not worth losing time at the pool enjoying the ship, especially because this is such a big ship with so much to do. So many activities are planned throughout the day, so we are going to indulge in some of those. On the NCL Escape, you'll find 3 main swimming pools, as well as 9 jacuzzis and 5 water slides. We headed up to the pool deck to take all this in. The pools are located on Deck 16, or at least this is where you can find 2 of the main pools and a few hot tubs. This deck has a very odd and broken up configuration, but it did seem to have ample seating for our cruise, and we were able to enjoy ourselves out in the sun for a while. There's also a very large area for children here, as well as several water slides which you can access all the way up on Deck 20. From here you can plunge down in these water slides to Deck 17. We went exploring a bit further aft on Deck 17 and found the adults-only Spice H2O area. Most NCL ships have a Spice H2O, which is basically a pool and sun deck during the day and something of a nightclub at night. This Spice H2O has plenty of seating, tons of sun chairs, and a large digital display screen. You can also find 2 hot tubs and a bar here, as well as this extremely odd water feature, which is aptly named the Grotto. From here, I decided to go around the ship and film a bit more, including the garden buffet, which is the main buffet on this ship, on Deck 16. However, I was a little bit surprised at what I found here. Okay guys, so I just got back. I did go up to the buffet for just a quick little snack this afternoon. I wasn't intending to go there, but I was up there filming and I saw some pizza and I was like, you know what, I could use a little snack. Kind of disappointed in the cleanliness of the buffet area. I found a table to sit at and the chair was sticky. The chair next to me was all wet. There were crumbs all over the table still, and there was actually someone else's napkin still in the little basket where they put silverware all wrapped up in napkins. It was a little bit surprising because the buffet also was not busy. We are in Cannes today, so mostly everybody is off the ship. So that was a little bit concerning. Overall, food choices up there were okay. Like I said, it was right around lunchtime, but the ship is fairly empty. They did have like an Asian cuisine section and an Indian cuisine section, as well as familiar favorites like burgers and hot dogs and pizza and things like that. So overall, the food was good. No complaints about the food that I had. But yeah, just a little bit concerning how dirty it was up there. If you watch the channel, we generally try to stay away from the buffets because usually during meal times they are super busy. They're noisy. There's a lot of people touching all the utensils and everything, and not very many people are washing their hands. So it's kind of a place we like to stay away from. And that kind of reinforced my thoughts about the buffet when I saw how it was up there. Hopefully, it's not like that every day. Maybe it was just a bad cleaning day. But yeah, it was a little bit concerning. Unfortunately, with that rather lukewarm review of the buffet on the NCL Escape, this is where we're going to end the first video in our NCL Escape Mediterranean Cruise series. Make sure that you watch out for our next video where we try an amazing steakhouse on board and visit the beautiful little city of Lucca, or so we thought. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.